In 2018, one of the biggest financial scams in India's history came to light, the Punjab National Bank fraud. At the center of this multi-billion-dollar scam were two men named Mehul Choksi and his nephew Nirav Modi. In 2015, Choksi and Modi orchestrated one of the largest banking scams in Indian history. They bribed and corrupted high-level officers to get the letters of undertaking to siphon over $2 billion from Punjab National Bank without any collateral. However, the scam was uncovered when a special PMLA court in March 2018 issued non-bailable arrest warrants against Mehul Choksi and his nephew Nirav Modi. It made headlines across India and sent shockwaves. But Choksi and Modi were prepared with their second master plan to escape legal proceedings in India. Mehul Choksi knew what forthcoming for him was. Before the authorities could reach him, he fled India, escaping to Antigua and Barbuda, a small island nation where he had secured citizenship in April 2017, a year before his biggest scam became public. And similarly, Nirav Modi escaped to the United Kingdom. During this time, Interpol also issued a red corner notice against him. Notably, Choksi fled the country in January 2018 to Antigua and Barbuda, few days before the PNB scam was uncovered. While he lived in luxury, the victims of his scam, ordinary employees of Gitanjali Jewelers, were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. In the wake of his escape, businesses crumbled, families lost their savings, and some victims even took their own lives in despair. Choksi's betrayal wasn't just financial, it was deeply personal for the thousands who had trusted the banking system. As the Indian government launched an international pursuit to bring Choksi back, he continued to live peacefully in Antigua and Barbuda. Interpol located Mehul Choksi, which led to the start of his extradition process. Extradition requests were filed, but Choksi had started his real plotting, using his wealth and influence to delay the process. Meanwhile, Choksi was enjoying his time in Antigua. With every delay, Choksi grew bolder.
Mehul, the Antiguan government has found out that you got citizenship using forged documents. They are going to revoke your citizenship and extradite you to where you did the scam.
Your business partner's and nephew has been arrested in the UK.
Nirav Modi has been arrested in the UK in connection with the PNB scam. In May 2021, Choksi mysteriously vanished. News spread like wildfire. Mehul Choksi, the fugitive billionaire, was missing. But this wasn't just another disappearance. This was the beginning of a plot so twisted, it was almost unbelievable. But it was not the first time what Choksi did was not believable. Desperate to escape extradition, Choksi hatched a bold plan. In April 2021, he called two Jamaican nationals, Paul Stephen Emmanuel and Leonard Anthony Cole, asking them to help him escape to Cuba. They held two meetings in April 2021. After multiple meetings, they agreed to transport him by boat for $200,000. The immigration records and CCTV footage shows that the Jamaican transporters had two meetings with Mehul Choksi.
Let's fix everything up. We leave on May 24th. Okay, Emmanuel?
During these meetings, Mehul Choksi called his female friend Barbara Jarabic and asked her to come to Antigua during the 19th and 24th of May 2021. Notably, Barbara Jarabic was an Hungarian tourist who arrived in Antigua and Barbuda a year ago. Choksi honey-trapped Jarabic is his master plan and tactics by representing himself as Raj. When he absconded, he prepared an idea to put his disappearance on Indian authorities.
Barbara, why don't you come to Antigua this May? I have a gift for you. And one more thing. Could you please check into the property in the country, which has jetty attached? If you find something, please, get the villa rented. I have a boat and we will ferry around Antigua.
Mehul Choksi is a mastermind who always has a backup behind every plan. The plan was simple. Emmanuel and his team would ferry Choksi to Cuba, a country without an extradition treaty with India. The deal was sealed after Mehul Choksi paid $50,000 up front to his transporters. But things would take a sudden turn, leading to a staged missing. Meanwhile, Mehul Choksi met Barbara Jarabic in Antigua and Barbuda. She was an innocent, vulnerable, and naive girl, and was not aware of the intentions of Choksi. That's why Choksi used her as an instrument and got all the details about her traveling plans. He also asked Barbara with whom she came and whether she knew anyone in Antigua.
Barbara, do you know anyone in Antigua, and do you travel with someone?
Mehul Choksi offered a diamond bracelet to Barbara Jarabic, following which he retrieved every single detail about her traveling to Dominica. With this, he made a master plan of escaping from Antigua and Barbuda.
I hope you got the villa with jetty that I asked you earlier. I will take you on a ferry ride.
Raj, I was supposed to leave on May 24th, but I have to leave one day early, and I'm going to Dominica with my friend whom I mentioned to you earlier.
Mehul Choksi lured Barbara into his trap in May 2021. He asked Barbara to rent out a property in North Finger area of Jolly Harbour and specially asked her to confirm if the place has waterfront jetty. So, he could use that jetty to escape from Antigua and put all the blame on Barbara. Following his call with Barbara, he immediately ordered Emmanuel to change the transportation date to the 23rd of May from May 24th.
Okay, but I can only reach Antigua early morning of the 24th of May.
Emmanuel hesitated. The logistics were tight, and reaching Choksi that evening would be impossible. Still, they agreed to attempt the escape early the next morning on May 24th.
Okay, I am leaving now. Do as planned. Report me missing at around 6 to 7 p.m. Let's go to Barbara's house.
Mehul Choksi suspiciously comes to the hired property in North Finger as soon as Barbara leaves. After arriving at Barbara's house, he watched from the car as she hid the keys under the doormat.
You have to park the car here at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Choksi picked up the key, which was placed under the doormat, and entered the house. He then turned off all the lights to make sure surrounding people feel that there was no one in the house. After realizing that Mehul Choksi is missing, his family reported to the police about his disappearance, and police started looking for him in the close vicinity. But there was no trace of Mehul Choksi or his car in the area.
My husband Mehul Choksi is lost. Can you please find him?
We have searched for him everywhere, but he and his car were not there.
While Barbara left her home for Dominica, Choksi went into her house and hid there at the time when police was searching for him everywhere. Mehul Choksi fell off the stairs and sustained injuries to his face and body, leaving his left eye red. He also received injuries to his arm and a cut to his finger. Thereafter, he slept in the house overnight. He was sleeping peacefully while the Antigua and Barbuda police were searching for him in Jolly Harbour. At 6 a.m. on May 24th, Emmanuel arrived at North Finger to pick up Choksi. He looked at his injuries and asked him about the reason behind it.
Hey Choksi, what happened to you?
I will explain it later.
Bruised and shaken, Choksi climbed aboard the dinghy, bound for Cuba, where he hoped his disappearance would complicate legal proceedings, and India has no extradition treaty. The driver, as instructed by Mehul Choksi, parked the car near Barbara's house at 6 a.m. in the morning and fled the area. Police made a team to find Choksi, but he had already left the country. But early the next morning of 24th May, Choksi's car was mysteriously found in a spot that had been thoroughly searched the previous day by CPL Williams. Investigators believe the car was strategically placed there to display that he went missing, likely by Choksi's family or associates, to strengthen his kidnapping narrative. The car's sudden appearance added to the confusion and complexity of the investigation, as it seemed to support Choksi's kidnapping claims. But Antiguan police officer Williams was surprised as car was not there when he checked there on the 23rd evening, a night before. Choksi received a suspicious call into 4 hours of his journey to Cuba that there is a danger in Cuba, and suddenly he started thinking about another plan to find a safe and secure place for himself. Meanwhile, his brother was also in Antigua to coordinate his escape. He made few calls through his satellite phone to his brother.
Hey brother, can you please help me?
Following the call, he changes his route from Cuba and asks his transporters to drop him somewhere else. Choksi's plan continued to evolve. He believed that by creating a scene somewhere else, he could further delay his extradition and frame himself as a victim of abduction.
At what time can we reach Dominica?
We are already on our way to Cuba since past 4 hours, and I can say that we would have to turn around, and then we can reach Dominica around 10 p.m. tonight.
No problem, take me there. Hey brother, can you check how many boats are leaving Antigua to Dominica?
Mehul Choksi immediately made few calls to his brother and asked him to compile a list of boats which are leaving Antigua to Dominica during that period. He aggressively asked on call all the details of persons on board and their name details. Upon arriving in Dominica, Choksi's carefully crafted plan fell apart, but he was cleverer to make new plan. After deboarding the boat in Dominica, Mehul Choksi gave his satellite phone and bag of money to Emmanuel and asked him to call the Dominican police and tell them that a suspicious person is seen at the Tucari Bay. Dominican police reached the location and arrested him immediately.
Who are you, and how you came to Dominica?
My name is Mehul Choksi, and I am an Antiguan citizen, and I was forcibly brought to Dominica.
Let me check who you are.
Oh, he is a fugitive from India, and I think we should also call the Indian authorities to inform them about his whereabouts, as there is a red corner notice against him.
Choksi's arrest in Dominica sparked a response from Indian authorities, who quickly initiated the process to bring him back in India. But Choksi wasn't ready to give up. He continued to claim that he had been kidnapped, presenting his injuries as proof of the abduction. After the arrest, Choksi's brother came to visit him and said, "As you mentioned during our call, this is the boat that traveled from Antigua to Dominica. There were some Indians and Antiguans on board, so we can put the blame on them. However, there's one issue. The missing person report was filed at around 5 or 6 p.m. on the 23rd of May, but the Calliope of Arni boat left the country earlier that day, at 10 a.m., after clearing customs and immigration. When he was arrested from Dominica, the investigation on the matter was kick-started, which had also delayed his extradition to India. Now, Mehul Choksi has been using his manipulated kidnapping story as an attempt to escape the extradition to India. The investigation on his kidnapping case has helped him in delaying his extradition, so hired high-profile legal time, including Justin Simon KC, the former Attorney General of Antigua and Barbuda, British lawyer Edward Fitzgerald KC, and Indian lawyer Vijay Agarwal, by paying them with a hefty fee to further stretch his kidnapping case.
I'll give you a lot of money if you can delay my extradition case with kidnap theory.
The team wholeheartedly set out to fabricate the kidnapping narrative, reportedly receiving substantial fees from Mehul Choksi, which he provides from unclear source of funds. The funds were given to manipulate evidence and present his story as a credible reality to the world. Throughout this process, they undertook significant efforts, including engaging the media to disseminate the kidnapping narrative, aiming to create a diversion that would facilitate Choksi's escape from extradition. However, despite thorough police investigations, no concrete evidence has emerged to substantiate his claims of abduction.
There is no evidence of abduction of Mehul Choksi.
Additionally, the statement of Mehul Choksi also pointed out an error when claimed that the kidnapping occurred at 5:30 p.m. from Jolly Harbour. However, the area's bustling activity during daylight hours makes it impossible to kidnap somebody. On the other hand, the Jolly Harbour has only one entry or exit point, and the entire area was sealed with fencing and secured with CCTV. So if he got kidnapped, then the CCTV could have captured some irregularity. Mehul Choksi didn't stop there. He again, with the help of his brother, hatched a plan of bribing political leaders and police officials in Dominica and Antigua and Barbuda. His brother contacted opposition leader of Dominica Lennox Linton and offered him an election funding in exchange of helping him in his kidnapping case.
I will provide you with an election fund. Just help me with this case.
Choksi's brother also bribed Antiguan investigating officer Adonis Henry and asked him to manipulate with the evidence. He offered him a substantial sum of money and assigned him with a task to prepare an investigation report showcasing that he was kidnapped and beaten up by the people from Indian authorities.
I can't make this report. It is very obvious that you was not kidnapped.
You can just write, he maybe has been kidnapped. That's enough for me.
Okay, I will do that, and I will also write further investigation is needed.
Mehul Choksi has been evading justice and legal proceedings while living in Antigua and Barbuda and draining the resources of the small island nation in his alleged kidnapping case. Even after 2 years of investigation, no evidence including CCTV footage from the gated community, documents or other proof to substantiate his claims has been discovered. Ultimately, the investigation has yielded no tangible results, instead facilitating Mehul Choksi's continued evasion of extradition to India, where he defrauded with countless ordinary citizens. In a quick recap, the investigation into Mehul Choksi's alleged kidnapping plot uncovers substantial contradictions and numerous loopholes that point to a well-orchestrated plan devised by Choksi himself. First, WhatsApp chat between Mehul Choksi and Barbara Jarabic shows that he forced her to come to Antigua in May 2021 to lure her into the honey trap. The plan was to put blame on someone about his kidnap. Second, the timeline of Choksi's disappearance. It was reported that his car was not there around the villa hired by Barbara at the time he went missing. Yet the next day, authorities found the vehicle parked outside same villa, suggesting a deliberate effort to manipulate the scene and show that he was kidnapped. Third, viral footage also captured Mehul Choksi meeting with Jamaican transporters at a restaurant. This meeting was further corroborated by flight details and records of the transporters' movements in and out of Antigua and Barbuda. Fourthly, police officials of Antigua has a statement from Jamaican transporter who allegedly ferried Mehul Choksi from Antigua to Dominica. The next fifth evidence is following his arrest on a Dominican beach. Local police issued a statement that added another layer to the unfolding narrative surrounding Choksi's disappearance, which clearly states that he was arrested from a beach. The boat Mehul Choksi alleges he was kidnapped on left Antigua and Barbuda at around 10 a.m. on May 23rd, and during that time he was sitting in his house. He went missing only in the evening, and his family reported missing around 5 or 6 p.m. These findings highlight the inconsistencies in Choksi's narrated story, indicating a carefully orchestrated escape plan. These all details solidify that he was not kidnapped, but wanted to escape extradition. Late response of India also shows that they were not aware of his disappearance before, as they started acting as soon as they heard news about his finding in Dominica. This is all a part of his master plan, which is still helping him to delay his extradition to India and avoid tune of law.